Hey there. Welcome to Pod and Deliver. Ruben, I know we've been talking baseball this last couple of weeks, but this is the World Series, and I was gonna say, how many times do the Dodgers get, we're from Los Angeles, so how many times do the Dodgers get to go to the World Series? But you know what? They get to go quite a bit, at least lately, and we're hoping for years to come. But you know what, Ruben? Before we get into the baseball game, I just thought about it. Do you think the Dodgers are ruining baseball? I mean, some people are talking about that. Even after this game, which we just saw, we're talking about. Uh, I read a couple things on Twitter, or I guess it's X now, that said, "Oh yeah, Dodgers are ruining baseball." Do you agree with that, or do you think no, that's just silly?
Well, I don't know how to answer that in the sense that haven't we seen this movie
Mm.
Were the Bulls ruining basketball? Um, I don't know. Are the Chiefs? I mean, I guess Chiefs are not a great example. But I don't know. Just get a good team. Get a good. I don't know what to say to that. Do you think they're ruining baseball?
No, I mean, obviously, you and I are biased a little bit. Let's be honest. We love our team. We think it's, but at the same time, if anybody watched this series, these are two great teams. Yes, they both spent money on their ball club, but don't we want a good product out there? Don't we? I mean, if you really are a city that really wants to do well, or your ownership at least, put the money in it, right? I mean, obviously, you might not have the same pockets as the Dodgers do, but you could be more, progressive and aggressive with your team. And I just don't think many teams do that, and I think that's their fault, not ours. You know.
I'm sorry, I'm so distracted. What is on your neck?
Oh, oh, part of it's
Oh,
gone. Wait a minute. Hey, I got this. I went to the 18.
oh,
I went to the 18 inning game, and they gave us these what do you call them? Go over your neck.
scarf.
Scarves. And
What do you call these? Yeah, scarf.
it's a scarf. Anyway, they gave us a scarf.
The English language, Jacob. Check in, look into it. Go on.
Yeah, I'm still exhausted from last night. But yeah, they gave us a scarf. So it's my Dodger scarf. So I'm excited that we won last night. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about this crazy
By the
game.
way,
Huh?
kind of cheesy. Capital One is written on it. It's kind of
I know.
cheesy.
They want to make sure they get their money's worth.
I always hated the promo giveaways because of that when they had like emblazoned the
Right.
sponsorship. It's
I know. You're
gonna go
right.
in
You're
the
right.
trash. Anyway.
Anyway, but who could say no to a giveaway, right? So, but what are your thoughts though? I mean, after we just saw this last night. We were gonna go on last night, but we decided to maybe process this game. But what are your initial thoughts on what we saw last night?
I guess just real briefly
Hmm.
to kind of tie up what we were talking about. People forget that the Dodgers were not always great like this. People forget that we had some really uh, bad eras, slow eras, dead eras with poor management. So in the last 10 years, it's picked up. So we have to remember that it's not always been this way. It's incompetence that
It's
leads to bad teams. So there are certain teams that are always in the conversation that don't have the payroll of the Dodgers. Teams like the Brewers, teams like, except for this year, the Braves, um, the Phillies. All the Phillies have good payroll, so maybe I shouldn't bring those out. The Rays have traditionally played well. The
right.
Mariners. So uh, Astros. We don't like to talk about them, but um, it's about strong leadership skills, hiring the right people. We see this in football, certainly too. So that's how I feel about your first question.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get it. And I think most fans see that. I think actually, I'll give the other argument, Ruben. Not our other argument. I will say this. I think Dodgers are good for baseball. I think Dodgers. This is a good. What we saw this last couple weeks. People, were loving watching this game, and the numbers are up since 2017. People watching the games. So don't you want that? Don't you want? Doesn't baseball want a good series, a good product out there? Of course they do. So this was just great for baseball. Period. In my opinion.
So let's talk about a pitcher that
Hmm.
stood out in this series, Yamamoto, for a moment.
Oh yeah,
Now, he didn't necessarily have to sign with the Dodgers. The Yankees could have signed him if they matched. He was interested in the Yankees. And I believe if an owner like a George Steinbrenner was in charge, like a George Steinbrenner, Hal Steinbrenner, his son, is not like George Steinbrenner. An owner like him
right.
would have matched the Dodgers offer. And not only match it, say, you know what? We're going to blow right past it. And now we're going to put the pressure on Yamamoto to sign with the Dodgers. For less? I don't know if Yamamoto would have done that. I don't think so because Yamamoto's contract is different than Otani's. Otani says, pay me later. I'm good. I got a few million in the bank, coming in every few weeks, probably. Yamamoto says, "No, I want my money. I I want to get paid." It didn't sound like the Yamamoto was like Otani, where Otani was really motivated to sign with the Dodgers.
Yeah,
I don't think so with Yamamoto. I don't necessarily think so. In fact, I'm thinking Yamamoto might have thought, "Hey, I want my own team. I don't know if I want to share it with Otani and Sasaki." I'm just saying. People really just think these players just automatically want to sign with the Dodgers. I think a better owner, a better management team, things are looking differently.
yeah. I mean, did you hear this? I think when they signed Yamamoto, I think it was Josh Reddick from who used to play for the well, he played for us, but he also played for the Astros, I believe. And he said something like the Dodgers made a bad move by basically these are not exact words, but pretty much close to it by signing Yamamoto. He hasn't even pitched one pitch for Major League Baseball. He's gonna be a bust or something like that. And yeah, he won 3 games for us this World Series.
This is why we don't listen to certain people and certain people who sound qualified. Josh Reddick played for the big leagues. Oh, he must be qualified. Not always. I do want to mention something though that
Uh-huh.
is very interesting. When Yamamoto signed and he started playing for the Dodgers, he wasn't pitching well at first. People forget that.
Right.
So here's another thing that the Dodgers do well. They coach well. They analyze well. They put uh, players in positions properly often. All that gets ignored. The coaching gets ignored, except when something bad happens, then we look at the coaching. Except when Dave Roberts does a questionable move, now he's a bad coach. It's like, yeah, we have to look at these little details because the little details come together to make the Dodgers a great team. By the way, the Blue Jays too. The Blue Jays are a very well coached team.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and and a good leadership. I know the GM, and I guess he's now the president of baseball operations. Used to run the Indians, who are now the Guardians. Um, that's a well managed and well organized team as well. So,
Yeah, is that Shapiro? Is that right? Or I'm not sure if that's his last name. The one. No, it's
Ross,
somebody else.
no, no, no. It's Ross Atkins. His name is
Okay.
Ross Atkins.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was him. But yeah, I mean, now that you mentioned even that, I was thinking about the coaches. Let's give them a grade. I mean, what do you think of how Schneider did and Dave Roberts? What would be your grades for those two gentlemen?
For the audience sake, Schneider is the manager of the Blue Jays. Of course, Dave Roberts, manager of the Dodgers. I give them, you know what? I'm I'm used to managers like Jim Tracy, Grady Little. I know we're on the bandwagon, a lot of us, of when Dave Roberts does something wrong, let's throw him overboard. Um, but you got to understand, managers are on teams now of decision makers. They're not, the days of going with your gut instincts are over. We have, if you're happy or upset with Roberts, you have to be upset with Brandon Gomes, Mark Pryor, the pitching coach, Gomes being the general manager of the Dodgers, Andrew Friedman, um, probably the bench manager, Bob Gebhardt. I hope I'm getting his name right. And because they make decisions as a team. where to place players, and so this is the era of analytics, you know? I know some people don't like that, but you know what? I didn't like Jim Tracy and his era of going by his, 1,000 hunches, and you don't know what he's doing. And I remember he used to I don't know, maybe he shook that magic 8 ball, and sounds right, when he asked the question, should we put in Olmedo Signs or Hesop Choi? Apparently, Hesop Choi was a bad defensive player. I never saw that, but we have to just go with what Jim Tracy used to say, because his gut instinct told him so. And then Grady Little was dead. He was the first clinically actual dead person who managed the team. Does anybody know that? He actually didn't breathe on the bench.
Very
Anyway,
good.
so Dave Roberts, of course, he gets an A. I want to say the Blue Jays. I know this is going to sound to you like heresy, but I would have been fine. I would have been disappointed if the Dodgers lost. But if the Blue Jays had won, I thought no better team deserves this than the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
I'm happy with them. I would go on their message boards, and the there's this one poster who said, I've never been more emotionally involved. No, this is yesterday morning,
Okay.
emotionally involved in my team winning, in a professional team winning a game than I am of this team today. And I thought, this poor guy, if they lose. Um,
Oh,
and so I have to say, yeah, John Schneider, he got an A, especially for that long game. What they put into it, and his moves were right on money. These are professional players that have to execute, and you can't always blame the manager if they lose. He gets an A as well. I'm in a good mood today, Jacob. They both get A's.
wow, that's pretty cool. I agree with you. I think they are both great. I mean, so many times we hear in Los Angeles, fire Roberts. But reality is, this guy's never getting fired. At least, maybe not in the next couple of years. And he's probably going to be a Hall of Fame coach now with 3 rings. Schneider's going to have a. I think they're going to continue to be a good team. That team could. Right now we could be talking about how the Dodgers almost won the World Series because there were so many things that happened last night that they really. I looked at the plays afterwards, the replays. I said that we had so many things going our way where just one thing going wrong, we'd be talking about the Blue Jays right now. So yeah, both managed well. I agree with you. Both getting A's in my opinion as well. I actually love that the Blue Jays honored Vesia with the 51 on their hat, right? Saying, that was class. Even though they had that one little incident last night with the hit batter, and both teams kind of went out there, and that's just baseball. But I had a lot of respect for the Blue Jays. Ruben, what's the one thing? I mean, there's so many things that happened last night, but I was just thinking about it. What's the one thing that happened last night where you thought, oh, the Dodgers might win this game? Because let's be honest, throughout all the game, starting with that Bichette 3-run home run, we weren't. At least in my house, we were like, oh man, how are they gonna? We could hardly score runs. How are we gonna catch up to these guys? And little by little. But what was that one moment you said, ooh, we might pull this off? What do you think?
Well, mine might be kind of obvious, but maybe in its surface, if you go deeper, the Miguel Rojas at bat. Now, obviously, his home run tied it up, but if you watch the at bat, this is what makes baseball so fun for me. Where the little details. He was really tough on the pitcher. The count went to 2-2, I believe. He was taking pitches. He was fighting off pitches. This is the kind of thing that wears a pitcher out a little bit. So, uh, and starts to bring some frustration to a pitcher because Miguel Rojas is not known as a power hitter. He's not known as a baller. But we as Dodger fans appreciate him because he fills in the holes. He really does a play that's very scrappy, and we appreciate this at bat. You and I may be thinking Miguel Rojas might get a little double off this, or might punch one into the outfield if or maybe takes a walk from this at bat. But no, he fights, and he gets the pitch, the right pitch for him, and he knocks it out, ties it up. To me, that is my Play of the day. That's the
Uh,
first in Spot and Deliver, isn't it?
yeah, it's like we do it all the time. We never do that, which you just did. But you know what? I'm gonna go. I'm not sure if it's that obvious. I'm gonna say the eighth inning home run by Muncy. You know, Muncy had three hits last night, one of them being a home run. When he hit that in the eighth inning, I said, "Oh man, we're only down by one. You know, we could catch these guys." And then sure enough, we did. And of course, obviously, the Rojas home run was just crazy. We were screaming. We had a little party at our house, a Halloween party for Orion's friends, and half those kids were in our living room watching the watching the game and just going crazy. So there's like about three moments where, everyone went just nuts. And one of them was that Pages catch, and the other being the Will Wilson. I mean, no, Will Wilson, Will Smith home run in the what 11th inning. And so yeah, there were so many moments that you were like, "What the heck did I just see?" And just going crazy. And I know where you were at. Probably it was probably going nuts as well. So yeah, I mean, it was just incredible. Is there any other moments that you just thought that was just crazy?
Downtown LA,
Uh-huh.
it's fantastic to see that the Dodgers are LA's town now. Because for a while it was the Lakers. I think the Dodgers have supplanted the Lakers. I really believe that.
Oh yeah.
But you could see it, and you could see people following the Dodgers and understanding the game. And I hate to turn this into a racial thing, but it when I was a wee lad growing up in the early 90s, people were talking like this, what I'm about to say, that African Americans are shifting away from baseball and they're turning to football and basketball. Not only in playing and participating, but in their interest. And you didn't see a lot of African Americans interested in baseball when you talked to them. It was the other sports, the major sports. And I love football. I like it better than baseball. I'm admitting that. I've said that.
Okay.
But I love baseball too. And last night there were a lot, and I hear it. I hear African Americans loving baseball, young 20 somethings, 30 somethings talking about baseball and understanding baseball. That is the first time I would say this kind of interest from the African American community. I see it among my Latino brothers and sisters, but to hear it from my African American brothers and sisters,
Sure.
I feel the love for the Dodgers and for the love of the game. What's your take on that?
No, I think you're right. It is a multi-ethnic city we live in, and I think this is the city's team. I'm kind of proud of the city, though. I know some people were going outside doing fireworks and going and doing donuts, in the streets and going nuts that way. But there was no rioting. There was no blowing up police cars. That has happened in some championships in some cities. But we didn't do that here in LA, and I'm just really proud of our fans. And these are real fans. Ruben, I went to the store yesterday. Everybody had a Dodger hat on. I mean, and I'm not exaggerating here. I can't think of anybody who was not wearing Dodger gear. And I'm like, what the heck? Where am I? You know, everybody was into this. This was more than any other game I've ever seen, as in spirit. Of course, some Ram games, Raider games, whenever you see some people with gear. Not everybody wearing a Dodger hat or a Dodger shirt or Dodger scarf. Everyone's wearing something, and that just made me feel so good. I'm like, we're gonna do this. I was just doing anything I can to get us over the top, and I even had my students. This is a teacher podcast. Go on the air yesterday on a Zoom, and we did a simultaneous sip, just trying to will the Dodgers past the finish line. And I told them if we just think it, we will it. It's going to happen. And sure enough, it did. But things like that, just to get people all riled up and excited to do that, it's just great to get. This is a bringing people together type of moment. And I know in LA, we're together, and I hope most people around the world are happy for us. I know Japan, that's a happy country right now, right? Maybe not Canada, but Japan's very happy. So I don't know.
I was watching the Laker Timberwolves game last week, and I noticed that it was a very tight game, a couple of seconds left. And a man who is not considered a superstar won the game for the Lakers. But he's good. He's a good player. Austin Reeves. He hit a incredible last second shot, and it was major celebration. And And not long after that, the clouds kind of dispersed of the celebration. People were whispering, how's LeBron gonna feel? Because he's not getting that. And and it's like this is the beauty of baseball. Because now I'm shifting. The reason why I tell that story is because the beauty of baseball is superstars like Freeman and Otani, yes, they get their flowers, but any given day, somebody else will take it. Somebody else will take that glory
Yeah.
and celebration. And in my view, couple we talk about Rojas, but how about Kike, who is not a superstar, but he's a guy who those little moments add up to being very important to his contribution to this team throughout the series.
Oh, Ruben, I'm so glad you brought up Kike because I was watching last night. He was hustling on every play. Some of those singles could have been doubles that were hit out there to the left field. He was hustling to every ball. And of course that was just yesterday's game. We could talk about all the other games before, but that guy was incredible. And I don't know what the thing is regarding him in the playoffs and why he turns it on and not that he turns it off during the regular season, but he obviously is a little different in the playoffs. I mean, I think other teams will want to pick him up just so so they could have him in the playoffs, you know. But
Oh,
he was incredible.
you just said it.
What's that?
Other teams, he's a free agent.
He
Ah, Mr. Cynical. I know I'm being Mr.
he's a
Cynical.
very someone said though last night. I don't know who said Ruben, but they're like it was one of the broadcasters is that they said they really shouldn't touch this team. Just leave them alone. But they're going to. We lost Kershaw's retiring. Thank God got his third ring, right? And there's others who will probably be leaving, some of the relievers, I would assume. And so this team isn't going to be exactly the same. And you're right, Kike, there is talk that he won't be with the Dodgers any longer. But I hope they keep him for another year. But you know what? I bet you other teams are going to be throwing crazy money at him just because what he did. He was amazing, right? I mean, I'm not sure if you agree with that. That he's going to be pursued. Maybe he'll have a nice paycheck.
Of course he'll be pursued. And
Yeah,
well, I was just answering your question of I don't
right.
understand why he hustles in the playoffs. Well, oh, he's a free agent and now he's
Yeah,
showcasing. But I will say yes, he'll be pursued. And the other thing that has changed in baseball is that as players like him, Tommy Edman, the former Dodger, who I'll always love, Chris Taylor, these guys could play, or even Cody Bellinger could play around multiple positions
right.
that are useful to a team because of injuries, and you can plug these guys in. Uh, Player teams like the Dodgers say, "Oh, we're looking for players like you who we can move around," and so uh, yes, Kike, kudos to him, and
It was great. But
love
this
our
really
team.
was a team effort, and I think you would agree. I mean, we could look at I mean, Pajas coming in, which is another Roberts cool move. And Robert seemed to be making the right moves throughout the whole game. But throwing him in there, even the pitcher, dude, every starting pitcher pitched last night, and Kershaw was warming up in the 11th inning, right? Every starting pitcher, it was Robleski, right? He's a starting pitcher. Sheehan, he's a starting pitcher. The Dodgers said we're throwing our best out there, and I don't know. I mean, what we do with Yamamoto, except build a statue for him or something, because that guy won 3 games, right? I mean, who's ever has anybody ever done that? I don't even know. Maybe we should check that out. But I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen, and even the players like I heard Robleski says he's my favorite Dodger. He's my favorite. I'm like, what? Of course he is. And the MVP is like, if anybody else would have got it, there would be a riot, right?
So what's this is what's critical. Okay, so. This is how it goes from sports to the bigger picture in culture. And maybe I'm the old guy yelling at clouds when I say this, but um, baseball is an important sport. As much as I like other sports, and I'll watch basketball and I'll watch football and things, and I love them. I love them. But what baseball does is it's kind of it's kind of a peek into culture in a way. And what I mean by that is you mentioned Geek's hustle, and this is an attention to detail. It's not always the home run. It's how players are cohesive to the team and how they get to the ball. And this is a message to kids. hey, you are not always going to get what you want. You're not going to play shortstop because Kike has played infield a
Yeah,
good part of his
everyone.
career. And you see these role players. So what you mentioned Yamamoto, him walking up to the manager in that long game, asking to be put me in. Now, let me tell you something. This is by contrast to basketball. When you have players like Kevin Durant, I don't even know how much he makes anymore. Last I checked, it was some odd, like $50 million a year, something
Jeez.
crazy like that. Have you heard of this expression, load management? Oh, you haven't
No.
heard that? Load management is give me time off, coach. Give me the next couple of games off or more because I have an injury, but there's not really that serious of an injury. Imagine that going to your favorite team, watching your favorite player, and he's not even in the game at all. And this is a real thing. Load management is a real thing. LeBron James practices load management. And as much as I love him and his play, I don't love him, maybe him as a person, but as a player, uh, one of the all-time greats. But it's contrast that Yamamoto having just pitched, asking to be put in
Right.
3 hours of the night. Kids watch that and they see the integrity of that because yes, I think Yamamoto's getting paid in the vicinity of 35 million a year
Yeah.
and he's worth it. And stop I used to hate when people talked about this when I was a kid. Oh, these players are getting paid too much. This is all relative. This is an entertainment profession. They deserve everything that they negotiate for. Knock it off. I still hear that sometimes. Stop it. He deserves what he's getting paid, and he's asking to be put in. Kids are watching. I know I'm an old man yelling at the clouds, but this is an important moment.
No, I agree with you. Um, yeah, I mean, as you were sharing that, I was thinking, there's things that upset me and people talking that way, or thinking that way that, hey, you know what? Well, there are people who love basketball, and I think basketball's fine. And you mentioned these players in basketball that just skip a couple games, and we don't see that in baseball. I agree with you. But you know what? There is one thing that we see in baseball that we don't see in basketball. And I'll tell you what it is. And that is the commentators going in the middle of the game talking to the coach. I don't think I see that in basketball. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but we see that in baseball, and I think we got to stop that. Last night there was a play, Ruben. I can't remember what it was, but it was not a good play. Because I remember Roberts being so frustrated. You could see he was just like, what? He was like even managing. He was talking to people, and here comes a commentator. Like, well, how do you think? And he's like, you can just see he's trying, get his moment to be able. And he even said, what was that? What was that question? Because he's like in the game. I'm not sure how you feel about this, but that frustrates me. And that's one. I mean, we're talking about all the positives that baseball brings, but that's one thing that
That
during the
that
game I hate.
yeah, obviously I don't like that. That's a yeah, I guess it's a baseball decision, but I was referring to the impact of the player
Right.
of the plays and the players and the integrity that kids are watching because kids are seeing these athletes do other things. And the thing is in other sports, and baseball's not perfect.
Right.
Um,
No, no, I get it. You're
I know
right.
there's some loafers and things like that. To your point, I think it's a baseball broadcast choice that the commissioner agrees with, but they need to stop it. And I think the reason why they do it is to drum up interest in the sport. But I think the sport is interesting now. I think they're getting the ratings. I think they've done enough. You've done enough.
Yeah.
Move out, move
Yeah.
away, you
Yeah,
know.
for sure. For sure. Well, you know what? With that, Ruben, what's your last thoughts on all this, on the series? Is this the best series that you ever saw? Or maybe not. Maybe this was that the best game you ever saw? Maybe not. But what are your thoughts on that before maybe our last takes on on the World
Well,
Series?
yes, it is, of course. I would have said that even if the Dodgers lost. I would have thanked the
Oh yeah.
team. I feel we've talked about this before. I'll talk about it till I'm blue in the face. You'll never believe me. You'll never accept what I have to say. I don't think the Dodgers losing would have been as disastrous as a lot of people would have taken it. It would have been,
Right.
I would have been disappointed, but happy that they gave us such an entertaining series. I wouldn't have called for Robert's head. I would have said, leave him alone, let him enjoy his vacation. Best series ever. Best team, best Dodger team of all time. Stop it. Stop telling me about Bill Russell in the 70s and that whole mess.
Oh,
And
they're great. I love them.
Rose, get out of here.
That was a great team. Come on.
Yamamoto
Don't
and his
you don't have to
200
diss my 70s team. Come on.
and his 210 batting average. Knock it
Oh
off.
God.
With
But I
his
will say this, even though I
70s
disagree with that
mustache,
silliness.
his 70s mustache and his
Okay.
30 stolen bases like he's Ricky Henderson and he running around and not even diving for balls and knock it off with the Dusty Baker and the chewing
Oh,
gum and
let's not knock all our players now. Come on
batting.
now.
Steve
Okay.
Garvey, okay, Ron Say, they're good. Reggie Smith,
But
stop
this
it.
is just to, I agree with you on this one thing, and this is probably the best Dodger team we've ever seen, right? Especially with those pitchers. Now we got to add some more relievers, and maybe we should come back on and say what do the Dodgers need to put bring on for a three-peat, right? Who do they need to have on that team to make this be not so close like it was this year? Because it could have been the Blue Jays, and you're right. I would have said the same thing. I would have said this is the best series I ever saw. And I was even telling Kim last night, towards the end of the game, when we weren't sure if the Dodgers were going to win. I said, I don't care who wins now. I mean, I do care. That's not true. But if we lose, I could really say I respect both teams, and they gave us a great series. So,
If
yeah.
they had lost, you would have taken the day off again.
Thanks for sharing it with all our audience that I took a day off because I went to that 18 inning game. I did for my
Bereavement,
Dodgers. Well,
be-
we won that thing.
bereavement.
Thanks for that, Roop. But hey, with that audience, we want to thank you for joining us on Pod and Deliver and actually excusing our time with you guys regarding baseball and letting us do that. And we appreciate that. Have yourself a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon on Pod and Deliver. Bye bye.